On Global TV News Express, President Tinubu says he inherited a country near bankruptcy. And in business, Nigeria must review 2025 budget to avert crisis, Internal Monetary Fund warns. And on the foreign scene, Indian State Defense Zumba lesson for students amid protests. In sports, Confederation of African Football approved Ogun's MKO Arena for West African Football Union tourney. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express and Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. You can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu says his administration has rescued Nigeria's economy from the brink of collapse, assuring Nigerians living in St. Lucia that significant reforms are stabilizing the country and reviving investor confidence. And this was disclosed in a statement released by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga. He said as of the time he assumed office, he inherited a country that was near bankruptcy. The Senate has resolved to amend the Bureau for Public Procurement and the Local Content Act to include local and new contractors in the handling of federal government contracts to stimulate grassroots economic development in the country. This followed a motion sponsored by Senator Suleiman Umar Sadiq, APC Kwara North in Abuja. Our National Assembly correspondent, Topsy Gimbia, has the details.
Leading the debate on the motion, Senator Suleiman Umar Sadiq, APC Kwara North, noted that despite the existing local content policies and initiatives, including the renewed Hope Infrastructure Development Fund by the current administration, numerous small-scale federal government contracts, particularly below 50 million naira, often executed by larger and non-indigenous firms. Senator Sadiq urged his colleagues to support the motion to ensure local contractors are engaged to significantly enhance community participation, job creation, and increase productivity.
It reads that engaging local contractors for such contracts will significantly enhance community participation, job creation, increase productivity, foster a sense of ownership in public projects.
Jobs, contracts that are supposed to be awarded and executed by local contractors are given to foreigners. It's not as if we don't like foreigners, but no, people should not remain jobless.
Supporting the motion, Senators Sani Musa APC Niger East and Abdul Ningi PDP Bauchi Central urged the BPP to ensure local contractors are engaged in executing federal government contracts. Other senators Adamu Aleru APC Kebbi Central, Jibril Barau Kano Central, Adams Oshomole APC Edo North, and Solomon Olamilekon APC Ogun West called for the amendment of the acts that establish BPP and local content to remove sections of the acts that provide the use of foreign contractors in handling local contracts.
All we need to do is to ask BPP to adjust their requirements so that everyone will be able to at least gain, and that will raise the economic activities in our localities.
We also have to educate, persuade, and enlighten Nigeria businessmen and women, particularly the construction industry.
In his remarks, the president of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, said when the acts establishing BPP and local content were amended, would remove tough requirements to allow local contractors to execute federal government contracts.
With the prayer that we have adopted today, I believe this will cure all the defects that we have found in the contracting system and the shortchanging of local contractors and even the unnecessary conditionalities of experience when you have never been given an opportunity.
The motion was unanimously adopted while urging ministries, departments, and agencies to include local companies in the award of contracts in the country. Topsy Gimba, reporting for Global.
The Nigerian Senate has confirmed nominees for the Nigerian Law Reform Commission, that is NLRC, following President Bola Tinubu's June 2025 nominations. Dakas Dakas was nominated as chairman and Uchenna Okolocha and Fatima Alkali as commissioners. However, Fatima Alkali, who was nominated to represent the Northeast region, declined the appointment and communicated as one of the major political figures aligning with the new ADC-led coalition formed to challenge President Bola Tinubu in 2027 general election. In a statement in Abuja, Labour Party's National Publicity Secretary Obiora Ifo described the coalition as a gathering of powermongers and accused Obi of holding dual political loyalties. The Nigerian Medical Association has issued a 21-day ultimatum to the federal government to meet its demand to avert industrial action in the health sector. The association, in press conference in Abuja, expressed disappointment and condemned the circular on the consequential adjustment of allowances under the consolidated medical salary structure for medical and dental practitioners in Nigeria. Professor Audu said that the circular from the National Salary, Income and Wages Commission violated previous collective bargaining agreements with the government, adding that the recent development had worsened already existing tension among doctors who had remained committed to serving in Nigeria despite ongoing challenges. The federal government has offered a 50 million naira venture capital grant to outstanding students in Nigerian universities. It was gathered that the grant was for students in science, technology, and engineering, mathematics, and medicine fields. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, who announced this in Abuja at the inauguration of the Research and Innovation Commercialization Committee, revealed that the initiative would be rolled out between September and October this year. The Student Grant Venture Capital Initiative will provide up to 50 million naira in grants to high-achieving STEM in Nigeria universities, starting from 300 level. The Japanese government, through its embassy in Nigeria, is expanding its medical intervention in Enugu State by setting up mega incinerators to manage medical waste at 26 primary health facilities and private hospitals in Enugu East local government area of the state. Grassroots Human Security Project coordinator at the Embassy of Japan in Nigeria, Wakana Deguchi, led a delegation from the embassy to assist the Abakpa General Hospital site for the project. The incinerators project, which the embassy would be implementing with the South Saharan Social Development Organization, will reduce the difficulty health facility face as they lead to travel several distances to Enugu cold store to be incinerated. An Oyo State High Court sitting in Ibadan dismissed a 5 billion naira defamation suit instituted by Aaron Akanfo of Yoruba Land, Gani Adams, against the Yoruba Nation activist Sunday Adeyemo, fondly called Sunday Igboho. The court, presided over by Justice O.T. Ademola Salami, also awarded a cost of 500,000 naira against Adams in favor of Igboho. He alleged that he responded a record of a telephone conversation between him and another person without his consent to get defamatory content, saying the action breached the right to privacy pursuant to Section 37 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. The Nigerian Army High Command said it vehemently denied terrorists the opportunity to distort Nigeria's socio-economic heritage or smear the sanctity of the country's sovereignty. General Oluyede spoke at a briefing to announce activities marking the 162nd anniversary of the Army. According to the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, the Army rose to the challenge and saved the nation from further doom, contended with the enemies of peace and agents of chaos who have brought terrorism to our borders and caused a plethora of internal security issues. The Nigerian military says during the second quarter of the 2025, despite some minor setback caused by improvised explosive devices, our troops across all theater of operation arrested over 1,191 terrorists. Director of Defense Media Operation, Major General Marcus Kange, made this known while addressing journalists at the Defense Headquarters in Abuja. Kikelomo Okere has the details.
The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Kange, says during the second quarter of 2025, the Nigerian military, in conjunction with the hybrid forces and other security agencies, recorded significant achievements in the ongoing counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency operations which pose serious threats to national security and socio-economic activities. Major General Kenge also says the quarter also witnesses mass surrender of Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists due to troops overwhelming firepower terrorist commanders, bandit kingpin and IPOB criminals.
For instance, our troops killed several terrorist kingpins and their foot soldiers, arrested over 1,191 of them, and rescued about 543 kidnapped victims. During the quarter also, about 682 terrorists and their families surrendered to our troops. Among the terrorists eliminated were dreaded Amir Abu Fatima, Kingpin Auta, Abdul Jamilu.
Major General Kenge also reveals that troops of Operation Delta Safe foiled oil theft worth over 3 billion naira. Relatedly, troops recovered some automatic weapons, RPG tubes, machine guns, locally fabricated guns, and improvised explosive device, which were prepared by the terrorists and ready for detonation.
2,381,239 liters of stolen crude oil, 605,309 liters of illegally refined AGO, 41,465 liters of dual-purpose kerosene, and 26,905 liters of premium motor spirit. These were also recovered. In addition, troops discovered and destroyed about 174 illegally refining sites, while 45 vehicles were seized from them.
The Military High Command, however, expresses deep appreciation to the field commanders and their men for their resolve and determination across all theaters in ensuring that all forms of threat facing the country are conclusively brought to an end. It assures Nigerians of the Nigerian military and all security agencies' code of conduct for internal security operations, law of armed conflict, and rules of engagement. Kikelomo Okere, Global Television News.
No fewer than 15 persons have been reportedly killed by bandit suspects to be members of Lokarawa in Kwalaija village of Tangaza local government area of Sokoto State. The incident was said to have happened on Wednesday afternoon when the suspected terrorists entered the village and attacked them. He said that the victim had been buried according to Islamic rites on Wednesday evening. You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returned, Nigeria to end gas flaring by 2030 under new strategy. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of the break. Stay with us. Welcome back from that break. Let's quickly take you to the world of business, where President Bola Tinubu commissioned the Northwest Digital Industrial Park in Kano, which was vandalized during the End Bad Governance protest in 2024. President Tinubu was represented at the commissioning ceremony by the Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, in Kano. The minister in his address expressed the need for the youth in the state and the country at large to use this opportunity to tap from the various opportunities across the globe. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission says its gas-centric transition strategy aims to eliminate routine flaring by 2030 and reduce methane by 60% by 2031. The Commission's Chief Executive, Gbenga Komolafe, made this known at the ongoing 24th Nigerian Oil and Gas Energy Week Conference 2025. He revealed that the strategy was supported by initiatives such as the Decade of Gas, the Nigerian Gas Flare Commercialization Program, and the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas, that is CNG initiative. Nigeria's physical outlook for 2025 is under serious threat, according to the International Monetary Fund, which has warned that the country must urgently reverse its budget target or face a deepening financial crisis. The IMF's latest article, IV Consultation Report, points to a significant risk of Nigeria exceeding its fiscal deficit projection for the year, driven by a combination of falling oil prices, lower production levels, and challenges in capital expenditure execution. It called on the Nigerian Authority to take immediate action to recalibrate the country's fiscal policy and budget expectation to reflect the current economic realities. The United States Ambassador for Nigeria, Richard Mille, has announced that bilateral trade between the two countries have soared to about $13 billion since last year. Mills disclosed this at a dinner organized by the U.S. mission in Nigeria to mark the country's 249th independence anniversary. He said that the spiraling trade relation between the two nations have fostered not only economic opportunities for Nigerians, but also have created jobs for Americans and Nigerians alike. In a major boost to rural connectivity and security in the Federal Capital Territory, President Bola Tinubu commissioned the newly dualized 16.4-kilometer Ushafa War College Army Checkpoint Road in Buhari Area Council. President Tinubu, who was represented by Kashim Shettima, says the inauguration formed part of a wider 17-day ceremony across Abuja, including nearly 150 kilometers of new roads in satellite towns, reinforcing Tinubu's renewed hope infrastructure agenda. Godwin Sunday has the details.
President Bola Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, commends the FCT Minister for the balanced infrastructural development across urban and rural areas, said it is essential to national unity and economic growth. Tinubu highlighted the project as a corridor for agriculture, commerce, education and security, urging local communities to take ownership and preserve the roadway.
And this shows the love you have for the satellite town residents. I want to thank you sincerely. Look at this place now. Why do you need to stay in the city? where you can drive from here to the city 25-30 minutes. And that is what is required. Those who say they don't want to see, may you not see. God gave you eyes to see. He said you will not see. I never say don't see again.
FCT Minister Nyesom Wike thanked President Bola Tinubu and reaffirmed that connecting these key sites will enhance travel as well as open up new prospects for farming, education and commerce in outlying areas such as Ushafa Old Usama Dam and Abuja War College corridors.
Not just the commissioning of a road, but the fulfillment of a promise. For too long, the journey between Ushafa and the War College Army checkpoint has been a test of endurance. Every commuter, every trader, every student, and every health worker who has traveled this road has felt the burden of delay and difficulties. That story changes today. With this project, we have transformed a path of frustration into a rapid congestion. They will breathe new life into economic activities, improve access to education and healthcare, and uplift the overall quality of life for the good people of Ushafa, Buari, and the neighboring communities.
As Abuja expands its road into rural zones, local communities stand to benefit from easier access, security and growth. Godwin Sunday, reporting for Global Television News.
Now from the foreign scene, the embattled former Director General of the National Financial Investigation Agency in Equatorial Guinea, Balsa Emet, after he appeared in the Malabo court for his corruption trial. Ngoga had been detained at Black Beach Prison since September 2024 following the corruption probe. The unrelated to the over 400 sex tapes involving high-profile women uncovered in his office and house. In addition to the prison terms, the charges include a recommended fine of over 910 million CFA francs, approximately $1.5 million, and a prohibition holding any public office throughout the sentence period. The South Korean lawmakers have voted to revise the rule around martial law, now barring any attempt to obstruct lawmakers from entering the National Assembly. This comes after former President Yoon Suk Yeol's short-lived martial law order last December, which plunged the country into a political crisis. As military force gather in front of the National Assembly, lawmakers had to scale the wall to vote down Yoon's order. The amendment also bans the military and police from entering the National Assembly without the approval of its speaker. The southern Indian state of Kerala has defended its decision to introduce Zumba classes in public schools after the move sparked protests from religious groups earlier this week. Some 14,000 state-run schools in Kerala has been asked to organize daily Zumba as part of an anti-drug campaign launched by the government last month. The decision has been bitterly opposed by some Hindu and Muslim organizations in the state, who says the dance is a form of cultural invasion. Now in sport, the Confederation of African Football has given official approval for the MKO Abiola Sport Arena in Abeokuta, Ogun State, to host the upcoming Under-17 West African Football Union Zone B Championship. The announcement comes following a comprehensive inspection of the facility, which has passed all assessments related to seating capacity, pitch quality, safety, infrastructure and auxiliary services in line with SCAF standards. The Confederation of African Football delegation was led by WAFU Executive Director Philip Char, who was joined by Chairman of the Ogun State Football Association and Nigerian Football Federation Board member Ganio Majukodumi. Liverpool and Portugal forward Diogo Jota has died at the age of